I get stopped all the time about you, Maureen. Tons of people. And they're like, you know what I love? I love the nerve with Maureen Callahan.
Oh, I love hearing that.
And
Thank you.
It's male and female. It's amazing. Like it has, I think, equal appeal, as does the Megyn Kelly show.
That's crazy.
Equal appeal to men and women.
I love that.
Very hard to do.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It is, because I think like the Today Show is obviously just going for women.
Right.
A lot of the Manosphere podcasts, they just want men.
Right.
It's hard to find an audience that's almost equal. You know, it's like 55-45, what have you. And so hats off to you, madam.
Well, thanks, Megyn. My favorite emails come from men who make sure to identify themselves as super straight, really tough guys. They love lots of hot heterosexual sex. They also love to shit talk Meghan Markle. I got one from a welder the other day.
No way.
He was like, yeah, like I'm in the shop all the time. I used to catch a ton of shit for listening to your show. And then one day I was like, you got to come over here and hear what the Nerve is saying about Meghan Markle. And they were like all into it.
Oh, don't mind if we do.
Don't mind if I do.
Well, it's funny you should mention her, because I do have something queued up for you. She recently attended an NBA game, and because she doesn't really like publicity, she sat courtside with Harry and had to nudge him to smile for the camera. We've actually gone so far as to slow it down to slow-mo so that we can be sure we zero in. Let us see. There she is. Hi. There you are. Rubbing the arm. Give your photo up. So Maureen, there it is. There's the slow-mo. Oh,
the
yeah.
eyes.
You can't miss. Darling, this is the whole reason we're here. That's really what she's saying there. Look into the damn camera and get me my shot. If you're not looking, then they're not looking at me.
So there's a couple of things about that. This is what Mark Bowden calls trophy behavior.
Oh.
So in doing this, Meghan is showing off her trophy. And she's trying to animate the trophy to make sure that we're communicating that the trophy is as much in love with me as I am with him.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then when you slow it down and you look at the minute he looks straight at the camera, it's a micro pause, but his eyes look like he could kill. He looks he doesn't want to be there, and he doesn't want to be engaging with the media that they ran away from.
Yeah.
Running for their lives.
There's another layer here that is easy to overlook. Celebrity visibility is not accidental. There is an entire hierarchy inside these events, where you're seated, who you're seated beside, which cameras find you, and how frequently you're shown on the arena screen. That means a courtside appearance can function almost like a live public relations event. And when other enormously recognizable couples are sitting nearby, the comparison becomes unavoidable. But we should be careful about turning seating arrangements into hidden messages. There's no evidence in this transcript that the organizers deliberately placed Meghan beside Queen Latifah as some kind of insult, or that the presence of another famous couple had anything to do with relationship rumors. That's speculation. The more interesting question is simply why these moments generate so much discussion in the first place. Because for celebrities, being seen can be almost as valuable as what they're actually doing.
That I think he genuinely hates.
Oh, I do too.
But she doesn't.
Oh no, she loves it. And you know, the other thing is, like, those seats are very coveted, even among celebrities.
And very expensive.
Courtside seats. And if you go to play. Like we see it in New York City at the Knicks games all the time.
Yep.
Like Spike Lee is like practically like a fixture there, has been forever. Even the most recalcitrant, cranky celebs who sit.
Here she is next to Queen Latifah, FY.
Okay, so do you think that was like whoever does the seating for those games effing with her a little bit?
Subversive.
Here's a queen.
The queen
here's
next to the Duchess.
Latifah.
She's higher than you.
She's higher than you, and she's more well liked than you, and she had a hit show for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I thought was interesting about that game was the Obamas were there.
Oh, God.
And it seemed to me like, is this the night where like high profile couples who have divorce rumblings swirling all around them go to show the world that like everything's cool?
Yeah, it could have been.
I'm not buying it.
But it really is a joke. Like, honestly, it's the South Park. We want privacy. We want privacy. Front row courtside. You know, so like I go to Knicks games with my family. Mm-hmm. I took my young guy, my 12-year-old, just the two of us, and it was super fun. We went as like a mom-son date. We didn't sit there. I could have bought those tickets. I could have made sure we got seen courtside. I didn't do that because I was going to watch a basketball game with my child. I wasn't going for a photo op, which clearly she was. She doesn't care about basketball. She wanted to be seen, and this bitch is still...
And this brings us to the central contradiction. Wanting privacy does not mean a public figure has to disappear from public life. You can absolutely want boundaries around your private family life while still attending premieres, sporting events, galas, and other highly public occasions. Those things aren't automatically incompatible. The criticism becomes stronger when audiences perceive a different pattern. Privacy when coverage is unwanted, visibility when attention is beneficial. Whether that criticism is fair is a separate question. But once the public perceives that pattern, every highly visible appearance gets interpreted through that lens. And that's one of the biggest challenges facing celebrities who have publicly fought with the media.
They're in court right now suing the Daily Mail in the UK about like yet another piece of coverage that they thought was unfair to poor, mean Harry and Meghan, like poor, mean Daily Mail going after these poor, losers who just want to be left alone. Bullshit.
He was on the stand, by the way, in that courtroom, crying, like weeping or trying to weep on the stand about the misery that the media has caused his wife. And the judge in the case had to remonstrate him several times and say, "Excuse me, sir, this is a courtroom. It is not about your emotions.
It's not Oprah.
Pull yourself together and speak to the matter at hand. That is it." So it cannot be both, right?
No.
It cannot
No.
be both.
This is exactly right. If you put yourself out into the public sphere as a public figure, in any prominent way, there's a number of ways that you can become a public figure and be out there. You have to accept that this is part of the deal. It's not nice. It's not pleasant. I mean, honestly, I was laughing. Abby and I were looking at this recently. I'm like, in the past few years, I've been called a racist, a transphobe, a bigot, an Islamophobe, a pro-pedophile, now it's anti-Semite. Like, none of this is pleasant. None of it is true. And you really do have to know who you are, to be able to handle this. And I think that's part of the problem with this woman. She doesn't know who she is.
Exactly.
At all. She's playing a role, and she has been from the start, especially with Harry.
Exactly.
So she can't take the negative coverage, which is why they continue suing and suing and suing. And even in that court proceeding, he was talking about how, like, my wife was treated abominably by the British press corps. Oh my God, they made her an international star. They loved her in the beginning. You only started to get upset when she started to behave badly, and they wrote about that too.
The thing about Meghan, to your point about not knowing who she is, so like, all the things you were just describing are unpleasant, but I'm sure they don't land with you. I'm sure it's like Elizabeth Taylor once said about Joan Rivers, doesn't hit me where I live. Not who I am.
Yeah.
I know that. I think her problem is she thought that this level of fame and a power marriage like this would fill the hole, but nothing's going to fill that hole.
Now, this is where I think viewers should separate an interesting observation from a psychological diagnosis. The claim that someone has an internal black hole or doesn't know who they are is an interpretation. We can't establish a person's inner psychological state simply by watching interviews, photographs, or public appearances. But there is a legitimate media question underneath that argument. What happens when a person's public identity becomes more important than the person behind it? That's something we see across celebrity culture. People don't simply become famous anymore. They build brands. Titles, clothing, relationships, events, magazine covers, social media appearances, all of these can become pieces of a carefully constructed public identity. And when the audience senses that construction, they may begin asking whether they're seeing a person or a performance. That tension is far more interesting than simply calling someone fake.
It's it's a black hole because it's a black hole of identity inside.
Right. And it interestingly, in her case, it doesn't have to do, I don't think she has like man issues. She has self-esteem issues. Like the women who have man issues have dads who were not around or who left their moms or who are serial cheaters on the moms, right? They don't know how to be treated. They don't know how to like demand good treatment usually. And I'm generalizing. That's not her thing. Her thing is, I need to be built up into something I'm not. Whatever I am is not good enough in her head. This is how she feels. And so she's got to land the prince, and she's got to have the right cover of the right magazine. She's got to be called Duchess, even when she's the only one in the house, Maureen.
No.
She's got to be courtside. She's got to be as ever. And with the beekeeper, right? Like all of it has to be curated to perfection, or we're all going to see behind the veil that she's just like the rest of us, imperfect as hell, but relatively fine.
Well, you know, there are parallels here with Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, who I think we're going to get to. But one of the things about Meghan also that is such a tell for me is that whenever she's interacting with another person who's not really, it's not Harry, but it'll be somebody else, whether it's a friend, an employee, a handler, whatever. She does this thing constantly that is so off-putting, and it's a power move. She pets them.
I was picturing that in my mind while you were winding up.
She pets them. She takes their hand. She brings it over them. And then it goes somewhere on like the back or the shoulder or the arm where the other person can't even get to it to be like, get off, you know?
She does it in this video, Canadian Debbie tells me. Oh, she's got the sachet going. Oh, here I am. Okay, keep going.
And then she gets to the red carpet or the blue carpet, you'll see. And this handler is attempting to arrange this completely unruly, dated, old person's train. This gown is so dated.
Yeah.
Like she can't even, like no decent stylist will work with her. You can tell.
Right. They don't want anything to do with
this. This thing looks like an 80s prom dress to me.
It does,
actually. And look at her like flaunting look at, my train. You know, this wasn't even her night. This is Tina Knowles' night. This is Beyonce's mother's night. This is apparently also another gala she invited herself to.
Oh, God.
She wasn't on the list. She wasn't on the program. She wasn't among the honorees or the distinguished guests.
This is what I object to. I object to obvious attempts to be fabulous. It's one thing to be fabulous, right? It really is.
Yes.
And you just are.
Yes.
And it's quite another when I can see you're trying.
Yes.
It's a turnoff. Not for nothing, but back to that sheriff out in the Tucson, Nancy.
There's actually a broader celebrity lesson hiding in this criticism. Audiences tend to respond differently to someone who appears naturally confident compared with someone they believe is desperately trying to look important. The difference isn't necessarily money, clothing, or status. It's perceived effort. When the audience feels that someone is comfortable in their position, the image can appear effortless. When the audience feels that someone is constantly trying to prove their importance, the same behavior can come across as insecurity. Again, that's perception, not proof of someone's private motives. But perception is incredibly powerful in celebrity culture.
Benet Ramsey case. I'm sorry. It's just so funny. I love that guy. It's like, sorry, forgive me. We have to laugh where we can. Melissa Francis, you know, she's a friend of mine from Fox News, and she's formerly a big child star. She was on Little House on the Prairie. She and Jason Bateman played the Ingalls second round of children when the originals grew up.
Oh.
And she was little Cassandra Ingalls.
Okay.
And Jason Bateman was her brother. And she could cry on a dime, like nobody's business. Actual tears. Hold on a second. I got to pull this up. I don't think Melissa would care if I read this, but we were texting about it this morning about that. She had watched the sheriff segment and she liked it. And she was saying, she said, love the comments on the crying investigator. Take it from a world champion. What did I tell my son? Her son tried to like pretend cry or not getting something when he was young. And she was like, I expect more than this. She says, there's no water on your face. It's very hard to believe you when there's no water. She says, it's very hard to truly cry without water. This is why they paid me so much. She said, this is why my daughter's going to be a star. She's like, she goes, do you make crying face and crying voice? That's easy. But does water fall out of your eyes onto your cheeks? That is the test of truth. And she says, I have not seen liquid with that man. Love the #1 expert. That's so amazing. Funny. But she's right.
She's absolutely right. And what I have read is the acting trick to being a convincing crier is that when people are about to cry, almost every moment, like you're trying not to.
Yeah,
especially if you're in public. Like you can see the face try to suppress everything and push it back. And actually the act of doing that kind of makes you cry more.
Yeah.
Because you're beginning to feel bad for yourself now.
Facts. Oh, right? And God forbid somebody feel bad for you in that moment. You're
100% is the last thing you want.
And perhaps that's the biggest takeaway from this entire discussion. The fascinating part isn't whether one photograph, one gesture, or one courtside appearance proves anything about Meghan Markle's personality. It doesn't. The fascinating part is how quickly public perception can turn a few seconds of celebrity behavior into a much larger story about identity, authenticity, and control. Once someone becomes famous enough, almost everything becomes symbolic. A smile becomes a message. A seat becomes a status symbol. A gesture becomes a power move. And a public appearance becomes evidence in an argument that has been going on for years. But here's the question I think is still unanswered. Can Harry and Meghan ever completely control the way the public sees them? Or has their complicated relationship with publicity already become part of the story they can no longer escape? Because if the answer is the latter, then the next public appearance may be far more revealing than this one. If you want more analysis that goes beyond the headlines and looks at the bigger picture behind the royal family's biggest controversies, subscribe and stay with us, because this story is far from over.